today's video, you are going to see a detailed look into my third grader slash fourth graders new homeschool rhythm for the 2024-2025 school year. Hey guys, it's Fani from Mrs. Mom's Homeschool and welcome to my channel. Today I am sitting at my daughter's desk because I want to share with you her homeschool rhythm. Things are a little different this year because my son is now doing an online homeschool called Enlightened Academy. And so most of the content that I'm going to be showing you now is just for my 8-year-old who's between 3rd and 4th grade. We're still finishing up 3rd grade before we move on to all of her 4th grade work. So here we go. I'm going to show you everything that we do. So I showed this to you guys before. I found this at Home Goods and I write her daily lessons on here and a checkbox so she can see how much more she has to do. And normally we won't have school on Tuesdays because we'll have our homeschool co-op, but until that starts, we're making Fridays our Fun Friday. And so I alternated the lessons so everything is different every day. And we're alternating science with history. And then on Wednesdays, we're going to start a poetry tea time. And then on Fridays, we're going to do a baking day and a game day. So for math, she's going to do a math facts game, which I'll show you in a second. She's going to do her Mad Libs, which is Egyptian themed based on the Egyptian unit study that we just did with the Magic Tree House. And then for Bible, we'll still continue to read. I'll show you what we're reading for that. And then we'll play the science game that I'm also going to show you. And today we're baking crepes, and that should be our Fun Friday. So even though my son is now doing his school online, we still are starting with a morning time. So we're doing our read out loud book. What is it called? If I remember to show it to you, I'll show it to you later. And then we're going to do a Bible lesson. So we're not going to do these two things because I have a reason for it, which we'll talk about as we get into, the subjects. She doesn't know it. My kids don't know it, but I am actually going through laying down the rails and picking a character trait that they need to work on. And I go over it every morning a little bit to remind myself of what I want to teach them and how. Right now we're talking about mental effort. Since it's the start of the school year, they need to retrain their brains to focus and be alert and do their best, to try as hard as they can to pay attention, to increase their attention span, etc. Try to keep this in mind as I'm teaching her every lesson. We start every morning memorizing some math facts. So the ones that she has already learned, I'll erase the answer and have them write them. And then I will select about 5 for her to start to memorize. And then I'll start to erase those answers and she will fill them in. This is my favorite song for counting by any number. My favorite station is called Have Fun Teaching. And I'm not going to put the audio on because I don't want to get copyright strike, but even my older kids remember their multiplication facts through these songs. They're upbeat, they're cute, and they do a really good job of helping the children to remember their multiplication facts. So I will link this video in the channel below, and then you'll be able to find counting by all the other numbers through this video or through the channel. For math, she's still doing the good and the beautiful Math 3. And last year she wasn't having trouble with the math, but she was dreading the amount of problems that some of the lessons have. So what I started to do was go through the lessons myself. And then I love this notebook, by the way. I got it for $6 at Home Goods. But what I have here is I would go through the math assignment, and for example, like yesterday she was learning about multiples and the day before she was learning about factors. So instead of having her do every single problem on the page, I would teach her a lesson on my chalkboard and then give her a couple of examples and do some of the work from the book without her really knowing that it was from the book. And then I would have she would grasp it pretty quickly. And then any review, we wouldn't do this because we're doing the ones on the board, but I would write a couple of the problems on the board just to make sure that she got it. And every day we review what she learned the day before, and I'll make her do at least one of these to make sure that she still understands these older lessons. So I'm trying to do this until we get back in the flow of school, and to let her know that there's going to be days where she's going to have to do the whole lesson. Like today is going to be one of those days when we're learning about, like today when we're going to be learning about multiplying by 10, 100, and 1,000. So probably won't have her do everything if she gets it quickly. So it depends on how fast she gets it and how much of it she understands. For history this year, I thought it'd be fun to just do the Magic Treehouse series. It's the books. She'll read them in like 2 days. And then we'll do a couple of things in between the lessons. We'll watch a video on a topic, and then we'll do a hands-on project, or I'll get extra books to read more, go more in detail about whatever the topic is. Like, for example, the other day she made this cartouche. In ancient Egypt is an oval or oblong shape with a horizontal line at one end, which would be this here. We made it out of air-dried clay. And in closing, hieroglyphics that represent the name of a pharaoh or a deity. It was used as a symbol of protection and power, signifying that the name inside was of great importance. So instead, we printed out a page of hieroglyphic letters, and together, because the pictures were pretty hard, like my vulture looks pretty good there. Together we drew the images for her name. Excuse the mess on my desk. Okay, so for language arts, we're doing the Good and the Beautiful level 3. However, we switched from the old version to the new version. I caved in because the new one is actually so much better. However, because she already learned some lessons from the new version, I didn't buy the whole set, and I'm printing them out. I'm going through every single lesson, and I'm trying to see the things that she didn't learn. The Good and the Beautiful level 3, the new Good and the Beautiful is what I'm trying to say, focuses so much more on writing than the older ones did. So that's why I switched over, and I really love it. So we're just doing the lessons that she didn't learn yet, and if she does know it, then we'll just skip through it. So I set my timer for about 20-30 minutes, so just to get her used to working this, the beginning of the school year. And we'll work through 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll stop. What we're also doing is reading together Charlotte's Web, and as we are taking turns reading, she will highlight any words that she is unsure of the exact meaning, or if she wants to make sure that she knows that it's right, or a word that maybe she never even heard before. She highlights it in the book, and then I make her look it up the old-fashioned way in the dictionary. So she knows how to look up words in the dictionary. I write them down for her. These words in red are from her Good and the Beautiful reading, and then this is from Charlotte's Web. So today I'm gonna have her look over the words that we looked up yesterday, and then have her write a sentence, or at least dictate a sentence for each of these words. And every day we'll go over them. I'll ask her what they mean until I know that she knows what they mean. So that's how we're gonna be doing vocabulary. Before we even get into the lesson, I have I created this spelling dictation sentences for her, so she does one a day. So these are words from her the old Good and the Beautiful. We had a lot of time off last year. We had a lot going on. So these are words that she had already learned. I just want to make sure she doesn't forget it. So we'll just dictate one sentence a day. And if she gets the sentence incorrect, just like the upper levels of the Good and the Beautiful, I will tell her the correct spelling of the word, and then she'll have to rewrite it and write the incorrect word 5 times. And then the next day, I'll give her the same sentence to write. So here I have the underlying words are her spelling words. The bold words are any like grammar rules, like this is a compound word, this is doubling the T, this is adding doubling the N and adding ing, this is using apostrophes, and then anything in italics or words that I don't expect her to know, but that she can also learn. So that's how we're doubling down on spelling, especially since we're not going through all of the lessons in the Good and the Beautiful, since we kind of like jumped around this year. For science, we use the Good and the Beautiful science units, and I let her choose what she wants to learn. And right now we are learning about marine biology, and today's lesson will be about the tides and intertidal zones. So we have a discussion. I have my notes here, my hands-on notes, and I have printed out an easier explanation for her that gives her some hands-on experience. We're going to use her wobble bubble ball. And then I prepped the cards and the clip for this activity here, which is going to simulate the ocean tide. It's going to be like a flip book. And then we have our vocabulary words. I have here on her science wall, and I have some pictures. I printed this one out today since we're going to be learning about low tide and tidal pools. And then, so this is right above her desk. And these are the next unit that we're going to be studying. The next activity she's going to do is learning about the skeletons of these sea creatures, of seashells, starfish, and sand dollars. And she's going to touch them and observe them. So it's more of a hands-on activity for her. So I bought a whole bag of seashells and starfish from Amazon. And as she's looking at these and observing these, she's going to love these because we used to collect all kinds of shells when she was younger. But we're going to talk about how these are the skeletons of creatures that live within the intertidal zone. And she's going to look at the skeletons, and we're going to discuss what characteristics we notice that would allow them to live in their changing environment. I'm also planning on going to the beach tonight to see if we can find some tide pools and some creatures in the sand. We usually can find hermit crabs and shells. So this is a game that I got, Professor Noggin. I never ever had it before, never played it before, but it has a dice and it teaches you. I don't really know the instructions yet, but I know that it teaches you the different facts. Okay, so I think we roll the dice, which is 1, 2, or 3. And then I'd have to ask her one of these true or false questions, and she has to get it right. And then when I roll, she'll read from the scholar side, and then I have to figure out the answer. And the more we play this, the more we'll know the answers. And it has all kinds of different creatures, and this looks like the image of the jellyfish that we saw at our trip to the aquarium. If you want to see that, it's a beautiful video. Check it out. I'll leave the card in the link above as well as at the end of this video. After that, we'll go over to her cart, and in this binder, I have her science unit that we are studying. And so she will have to do a page or not. Normally, let's see. All right, normally she has like a lesson activity, but for lesson 3, there's no activity. They do have activities for most of the lessons. So today we're going to start the Radical Book for Kids, Exploring the Roots and Shoots of Faith. We read through most of the Ology book, and now we're just going to jump into this one. It's more applicable to the kids, and so that's what we're going to be doing. It just has, different little things for them to think about and just how to be a Christian, basically. I'll also have her read from her Bible, like look up the verses herself. She wants a new Bible. She thinks this one's too... she's told for it, so I'll buy her a new Bible. And then we'll do a Mommy and Me daily devotional, which is pretty short. It's also about just being a good person and talking about God and being a good Christian as well. So that is our homeschool rhythm for my 3rd grader. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. This video that you're seeing are clips of our hands-on activities. So make sure you check out the other videos in my channel for more homeschool day in the life videos and all the fun stuff that we do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.